Not live yet. Hi, everybody. Barry McGuire here for Barry McGuire's Creative Real Estate Education Series. It's the Monday main event. The Monday main event. We meet up on Mondays to discuss all things real estate, particularly on the creative side of things. We like to bring in experts on mortgages and tax and insurance and any other sub item that we investors need to know about. We talk about what specific investors are doing in our investor spotlight. Some of you folks come on and tell us about the deals you're doing, and we get to ask you questions, and that's very helpful for everybody. And we do focus workshops. Donna and I put on focus workshops, which we haven't done for these 3 years. It was May of 2019 when we did our last live focus workshop. And it was called the Rapid Cash event, the Rapid Cash event. So overall, what we're looking to do on our Monday main event and in our group and in our focus workshops is help you understand creative strategies and turn them into money-making win-win deals. That is what we're looking to do. So you can always check out barrymaguire.ca or investorlawyer.ca. Takes you to my website. There's a whole bunch more detail. But today, we are going to talk about our focus workshop called the Rapid Cash Program, because that is coming up. That's coming up. And it's been 3 years. Lots of people have no idea what the Rapid Cash Program is about. So to talk about that and to let people know, we're joined today by Neill Taniguchi and by Wayne Hillier, both of whom have taken the Rapid Cash Program, both of whom use the strategies, both of whom are very successful investors using multiple creative strategies. And we're going to talk about what goes on at Rapid Cash and why we think it's something that all of you should consider if you haven't already taken it. So let's bring in Neill and Wayne, and there they are.
Hey, guys.
There they are. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Neill. Wayne, I thought of you the other day. I was in a shop called Stang Guitars just off 99th Street.
Yeah.
And it's a giant shop. It doesn't look like it. It's got a little entrance, but it's big inside. It's got 2 floors. And they have beautiful guitars hanging everywhere.
Did you pick up a new bass?
I was looking at them.
Yeah.
I was actually looking to see if I could get them to do a custom decal for the guy who built my bass for me, because I have a custom bass.
Ooh.
I want to get his name on it. But
cool.
We digress. We're not here to talk about Barry and his feeble bass playing or the fact that he likes guitars. We're here to talk about the Rapid Cash Program. So, guys, thanks for joining in. And so, Neill, I think you took Rapid Cash before Wayne did, and I think that really grew out of our adventures with Ron LeGrand, the great U.S. real estate guru. The Rain Group brings Ron in, and we all go there and talk to Ron, who had a bunch of these creative strategies, and we took what Ron was saying and polished it up and made it Canadian and kind of made it our own. You and your mastermind group cut a swath after our Ron LeGrand adventures. I know that. So now, when would that have been? Was that 2009? 2007? That's quite a while ago.
Sorry, muted. Currently, as we get near a pandemic, there's still the ability to still forget to unmute your microphone.
I was going to say it was awfully quiet.
Yeah, no, that's weird. 2009-ish or so, I think, Barry, it'd be about right.
I think it was 2009.
Yeah. And,
it was.
Yeah, we credit it with being the rocket fuel that allows us to be. We quit our JOBs, as the expression goes, soon thereafter, and the improved cash flow. We had buy and hold rentals, but this creative side of real estate is really what made a difference in our world for sure. So do we believe in it? 100%.
Now that's interesting because the part about quitting your JOBs, that's interesting because we don't coach people to take the program and quit your job. We definitely do not. And Neill and Linda had good jobs. I think Linda was a teacher, if I recall.
Yep.
Neill was running a BMW dealership, or as near to that as you'd want to say.
Not the whole thing, but yeah.
Both very successful with good paying jobs. Certainly Linda would have a pension, and they thought well enough of what they learned at Rapid Cash and Ron LeGrand to quit those JOBs and do creative real estate, which we'll get into in a little bit. Yeah, that's right. I forgot you did that so soon after going, whoa, we can do those kinds of things with real estate? How about you, Wayne? Now, when did you take it? That was a little bit after Neill, I think.
Well, Neil's a little bit older than I am, so.
Well, that's true.
But it would have been a little tough to take it when he was in grade 6, Barry.
Yeah.
You guys are good.
Oh, 2000.
Miss you.
2000 I can't wait to see you, buddy. I can't wait to see you, man. 2016.
2016. So 5
Yep.
years, 6 years.
Yeah.
5 or 6 years. Yeah. Wayne and his sweetie pie, Gabby, dove right into this. And, their eyes got all big too. And they saw the really wonderful benefits that you can achieve from understanding creative real estate strategies. And, through this thing called the Rapid Cash program.
Mm-hmm.
And so, folks, why do we call it Rapid Cash? I think that's as good a place as any to start. And Neill said they were long-term buy and hold investors. And when you're doing long-term buy and hold, how rapid is your cash out of that, Neill?
The easiest way to put it is, the largest or the known component of buy and hold real estate is the mortgage pay down. So that certainly capital appreciation and all that stuff happens slowly over time. Or to put it another way, we were multiples of doors. I think we were at 21 or 22 doors in buy and hold, and it was not enough cash flow from those to enable either of us to leave our job. So we couldn't replace an income with our buy and holds. And so Rapid Cash, when it infuses chunks like that or greater cash flow that you get, say, from a rent to own, and I'm sure we'll get into some of those details, but certainly at that point in time when we realized that, I took a year off from work, I took a year leave of absence, just to see how things were going. And I had full intentions of going back. But then we realized that we were floating, that we were doing okay, and we didn't need to necessarily have the constraints on our time that come with a job.
Yes. And so, folks, when we're talking Rapid Cash versus buy and hold, if you're doing buy and hold, which is a strategy we all love, by the way, we all have buy and hold properties. It's the cornerstone of most investors' portfolio is buy and hold. When we're talking Rapid Cash, what we mean is that you can do a transaction and be paid in a month. I'm thinking about wholesaling. You can do a transaction and earn better monthly income than you would if you were just renting a property without the rent-to-own strategy. You can get a chunk of money up front in rent-to-own. In fact, we recommend that if you're doing a rent-to-own deal, you get a nice big chunk of option money, as big as you can get, right up front, and that's your money to do with what you want, as long as it fits within your obligations of rent-to-own. So when we say Rapid Cash, we mean get money, quickly, not in years and years, but in potentially months. So that's important for some people, because if you don't want to do your JOB, and Neill and Linda had good jobs that they liked. It wasn't that they didn't like their jobs. No, that's right. Neill, you enjoyed doing what you're doing, and Linda was a great teacher and enjoyed hers.
Yes, 100%. Loved that industry. And Linda had recognition, night and day for being a really accomplished teaching kids how to read. She was actually the person who was the specialist. If a child was just slightly behind in grade 1 or 2, they would put her back in put them in rather with Linda, and she would get them up to speed and really going and then back into the classroom, to the point where some of the teachers came to her and said, the kids coming back in are reading better now than our kids are. What's going on? So, yeah.
Stop that.
Yeah. And
You're
so, yeah,
making us
sort
look
of what
bad.
you were saying, Barry, the easiest way to put it, buy and hold real estate is great. You'll never hear us talk it down. It just doesn't put, you cannot buy groceries with equity. Equity is futures. Cash flow is what pays the bills today.
Yeah.
Thomas Byer, for those of you who know him, has an expression that says, cash is king. We've all heard that version, but he adds on one to that: cash flow is queen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Even in a hot market like, the Alberta cities, the cash flow is good, and it's probably the best in Canada, but still not quite enough. And even if it is there, is it enough to leave your job, to feel confident about that? It's not just you, it's your family that are relying on you. So having a little active income and some rapid cash coming in on the side as well can definitely support you. I got the same story as Neill, exact same.
All right. And I think that's important for people to hear. So now the rapid cash program, what does it consist of? I mean, let's talk about the strategies. So there's a number of creative real estate strategies, and the ones that we teach and talk about and go over are the agreement for sale strategy, which is a seller financing strategy; rent to own, which is folks want to buy a property now and they just can't do it, but they want to be homeowners. So they get into a property now with most of the responsibilities of home ownership, looking to actually become homeowners in a few years. There is wholesaling. Sometimes people call that assignments. You get a property under contract, an undervalued property under contract, and then you find someone to buy that property from you, or buy your interest in that property from you for a fee. And the more undervalued you can find, the larger your assignment fee would be. And if you're wondering, how much money you can make in wholesaling, I'm finishing a transaction right now where a student, this is someone who took the course and he's a brand new student, is getting a $30,000 assignment fee. $30,000. Found a really nice property in a really nice area. Got it under contract to close in July, and has already found someone who's going to take it off his hands, who's paid the money. And as I think about it, that person who now has the right in July may, in turn, if the market keeps going, be able to do the same thing himself. And it's a very good strategy for a rising market.
Mm-hmm.
Fix and flip. Everybody who's listening probably understands what a fix and flip is all about. You buy, again, an undervalued property, you do some renovations to it to add value, and then you sell it. There are lots of different versions of fix and flip, not just the flip part. You can do other things to fix and flip. Options. We talk about options on their own. You can get a property under contract where a seller agrees to sell to you for a specific price in a specific period of time. And if you can get that kind of an option contract, you control that property, and options have their place in the creative world. Let's see, what else? AFS, RTO, fix and flip, and joint ventures. The last one is joint ventures. And joint ventures can apply to all of these strategies that we've talked about. And sometimes we fit 2 or 3 or 4 of these strategies together, and we call that a creative combination. And if one strategy is powerful, sometimes fitting 2 or 3 or 4 of them together makes it an even more powerful deal. So that's the overview of the creative strategies that we talk about. That's the overview. Now, you guys, you've been to events, and as I said, one or two. As I said, everyone who's listening, Wayne and Neill are both focus team leaders. They come to our events, and they are wonderfully helpful about teaching and explaining and mentoring. And they helped Donna and I present the program. And so we're delighted to have them there, along with other focus team leaders, not just.
And I'll say in the same breath, Barry, and I think Wayne will agree, that at the same time that we're there, we're both picking up nuggets of information, new things, new ideas, stuff we hadn't heard of. I'm going to put a little spoiler in there for everyone who comes to the course. Wayne will be there at the end with a big pad full of questions. And I'm sure you'll talk about we stayed till the last dog is hung, as the expression goes, because what the finish time is rarely the finish time, because there's so much information there, so much learning. And we can't say, I know I can't say that I certainly can have all the answers. And I learn something new every time. It's amazing.
And one of the reasons that we all learn something new every time, I'm in the same category as Wayne and Neill. I learn new things at every Rapid Cash event. And I think we've done, 7 or 8 of these over time, maybe more. I learn something new all the time. And the reason is that we teach the strategies and we teach the outline and we go over examples and we do role playing and we give everything that we know about a particular strategy. And I'm going, okay, well, that covers that. I've got that in a nice, neat, tidy little box. The first thing that happens is someone says, oh man, that's really interesting. Could we? And then they pop up with an idea. And I go, yeah, that's one I've never thought of, but yeah, we could do that. So there is something new to be learned every time. And if anybody's listening who's been to a Rapid Cash, they're better every time. And this one is going to be no different, because we always look at what we did at the last one, what everybody loved, what worked well, what needs improvement. And we always improve the program. We improve the program. We improve the documents. We improve the examples. We improve everything about what we teach in order to always be very topical and fresh in what we teach. And it's exciting to do it. I mean, it's 2 days. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. And normally I am extremely jealous of my time. I work really hard at my job. It's very busy in law. I love my job too. But come the weekend, I just kind of want to hang out with Donna and hang out. But Rapid Cash weekend, I am all in there. I love the Rapid Cash weekend. That's how I feel about it. So, what else do we want to tell people? I guess I want to talk maybe a wee bit about the format. We've developed over the years a format for the Rapid Cash program that breaks down every one of the strategies into 7 steps. And we do the 7 steps for each of the strategies. So first step is education. You got to understand a little bit about what the strategy is all about. It's hard to go out and put a creative strategy into place if you don't really know what it is and don't understand it. And we always say, I have to throw, this is a good place to say it. If you understand the strategy, you will recognize the opportunities.
Yeah.
You got to understand that strategy, and then you'll see the opportunities, which brings up the next of the 7 points, which is lead generation and marketing. So it's great to understand the strategy, but you actually have to find some deals to do. How do you market? How do successful creative real estate investors find deals to do? And if you think you found a deal or two, do you just kind of willy-nilly sign it up and hope for the best? Of course not. Wayne, what do we do once we have found ourselves a deal?
What do we do?
Yeah, we educate ourselves. We do some lead generation and marketing to find some possibilities for deals. And then with those possibilities, we
close them.
After we analyze them.
Filter and due diligence.
Due diligence is where I was going. I wasn't sure if we were going on the same page. Diligence is next. Yeah, absolutely.
So diligence is important. No matter what business you're in, you have to accomplish some diligence, and creative real estate is certainly in that category. You have to be able to look at the deal and go, okay, this is what I understand about how rent to own works. This is what I'm being presented with. Does it pass the test? Can this rent-to-own buyer actually close? Can he solve his problem? Is he going to be a good RTO candidate? So deal analysis is very important, and we dive deeply into that. How do you, with each of those 6 strategies, slice and dice the opportunity in front of you to figure out whether you should actually pull the trigger and do the deal?
I think those are the 2 most important things that people are looking for when they come to a Rapid Cash or take one of your courses: is marketing, and is it a good deal? How do I know if it's a good deal? It's normally, I'd say, the 2 most important. I think everybody can kind of get their head around the concepts very quickly. We can explain in 2 minutes very simply, what the concept is, but finding it and knowing if it's a good deal is where you're going to get your most value, I think.
Yes, I agree. It's those are the questions. Where do I find these deals? How do I figure out if it's a good deal? And and those are the questions.
Yeah,
those are the questions.
Getting yourself inside a room with other active, creative real estate investors, and being able to, not just when you're presenting and, when Barry's presenting and we're all listening, but afterwards to be able to socialize and take a break and go pull someone aside and say, hey, I've got this thing I'm working on. How would you structure this? And would you put it this way? So valuable. Like the network that you gain from going to one of these courses, and then obviously joining into, the student success group afterwards, and just being in that community, it's huge for me to be able to ask questions and get answers.
Yeah.
That quickly.
Well, that's let's stop with the 7 steps for a moment and talk about that aspect of the Rapid Cash program. So it is more than just a bunch of talking heads yammering at you from the front of the room. It's way, way, way more than that. I'm telling you, folks, when you spend 2 full days with 50 or 60 kindred souls who are all really interested in real estate, when you show up in the morning and have a really solid, wonderful breakfast prepared by our partner hotel who treat us so nicely, you meet folks, you sit down at a table, and you start to get to know people. Break time, we get solid, wonderful snacks, not stale donuts and thin coffee. Again, you get a chance to talk to people, and that carries on through lunch and break in the afternoon. As Neill said, we stay until all the questions are answered. First off, you get to ask questions throughout the event.
Yeah.
It's none of this, okay, hold that till the end and then we'll get to it. The question is the question when it's in your mind, and it's in everybody else's mind. If you asked it, probably 10 other people were thinking it. So we sort our way through all those questions, but of course, people do collect a few questions. And then when the formal part of the program is over, usually about 5 o'clock every day, then we stay until all those damn questions are answered. And usually that's another hour or so. If Wayne's on his game, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. and then we go and hang out and have supper and maybe a libation later. And what do we talk about? Real estate all night long till we do it again the next morning.
Yeah.
So
the networking aspect is just incredible. I think about, we have only started doing fix and flips about 2-3 years ago now, and 2 of the deals that we flipped came from students of that of the course, right? You get to figure out who's who in the zoo, so to speak, and it's a large industry with a very small family, so to speak.
Yeah. So the community that we create at the event, the people that you'll meet, who you'll be, lifelong friends with, the ongoing community aspect of it, because when you come to Rapid Cash, you join our private student group, which is different than this public Facebook group that we're on right now. The private student group is composed of only of people who have actually taken the Rapid Cash program. And there's a whole other level of communication and understanding between those 500 plus people than there is from people who haven't taken the course. You can come up with any kind of question or issue or problem or thing you need help with. You put it to the student group, and I tell you, I used to watch the student group and think I had to take care of all of the answering of all of the questions. I don't do that anymore because the students help and answer questions themselves. So community is huge. Community is huge. Something else we like to have you end up with out of the community aspect of it is we like the notion of accountability partners. So we give you an opportunity to find someone or to suggest to someone that you've met that they be your accountability partner, where the two of you or the three of you would share what it is that you want to do, and then you hold your accountability partners accountable for them doing what they said they were going to do. In other words, you're providing support. You try and help people when they're feeling down. You try and answer questions, and they do the same for you. So accountability partners are, I think, a big deal. Neill and his gang did a mastermind / accountability partner thing way back when we were just getting started in creative real estate, and every one of those, was it 6 people, Neill, in your group?
Trying to count out loud. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, 8.
Yeah, but 6
Every one of those
entities might be the way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those, I think the 8 of you achieved way more success than you would have done on your own.
I dare say that if we had not been in that group and it hadn't been that strong of a group, Barry, I'm not sure I'd be on this webinar today. Right? That's the power of masterminding. I'm not quite figuring something out. I'm a little bit down in spirit. Wayne's up. He figures out. He gives me an answer. He pumps me up. We would go and meet monthly, and brainstorm stuff. So same as at the events, there's that outside of the actual what's happening in the front of the room. There's some stuff happening, and sometimes I know Donna can't hear this, that there might be a sidetrack or two on the course when we're actually live, because we get into some of this stuff. There's a funny noise in the background on your video there, Barry.
I don't know what's going on.
Is that the cat? Is that the cat again?
Yeah.
Punch a few buttons. Could be the cat.
Yeah.
But certainly that mastermind group was such a key, such great friendships that have evolved out of it, and the success it created because that hive mind, being able to solve things. And people ask me that all the time, and I'm one of the first people to say, get into a group where you're not going to be worried that someone's going to be your competitor, where you can share openly and learn. And it's just amazing what the growth what's possible out of that. Because if you're just doing it on your own, life gets in the way, as the expression goes. You go, I'll do that next week. And next week, something else happens. And, I think I've given this example before that says we train with a personal trainer. And it's not because I don't know what the exercises are, and I pretty much know what they're going to be. But if I didn't have that commitment to be there in the morning at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., depending what day it is, I'd find a lot of good reasons to blow it off, right? Yeah. And you think about how important physical health is to us. Well, this is financial health, which can relate and lead to so much for financial freedom and family and all of those things that when you really boil it down to what you ask people. I know, Wayne, you do this lots when you're talking to people. What's your why? Why do you do what you're doing right now? And having that extra little bit of accountability helps you push towards that why. Taking and investing a weekend to come to Calgary from, in May to come to this course, it could be life-changing.
Yeah.
Was for me.
Was for Wayne and for Neill.
Yeah.
So, and folks, those of you who are listening, we have a lot of success stories that come from our focus workshops, and particularly the Rapid Cash program. I'm kind of proud to say that I think we have the best track record of any educational group in terms of somebody who shows up, pays some money, spends some time, gets their big manual, and then actually does something with what they've learned. There's lots of good content, but you've got to take that and actually take some action and put it into play. And so the utility of the Rapid Cash community, the utility of networking, the utility of becoming good friends with somebody after a couple of days of heart-stopping, heart-pounding informational overload that we actually end up giving you, stays with you and provokes you and moves you on to really try things and to aim for the stars, knowing there's a great group of people who are very anxious for your success and who will help you every step of the way. You're not going to be on your own here, which I think is a big deal. I think that's a big deal. So we went through 3 of our 7 steps we did that we use to teach each of the strategies. The 7 educational steps. So the first one is education. The next one is lead generation and marketing to find the deals, deal analysis in order to figure out whether it is a deal you should do or might want to do. And then once you have made a decision that you do want to do a deal, then there's negotiation. And figuring out how to talk to people and how to get them to understand and take your lead on something that maybe they've never heard of is it's gold. You've got to be able to talk to people and get them to see that what you're proposing should be of great interest to them. You learn how to do that in a way that doesn't have people say, "What the hell is he talking about? Man, I can't talk unless I go see my lawyer," or "Get out of here, you're driving me crazy because you sound so weird."
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to talk to people. And so we learn lots about negotiating. And one really valuable aspect of the negotiating side of Rapid Cash is the role playing that we do. Role playing. We've developed a number of specific things that we like to do over the years where focus team take various roles. So one focus team person might be a seller, another one might be a potential buyer, someone else might be the nosy neighbor, and then we work our way through how you actually talk to someone who has a property that you're interested in and that you want to acquire with one of the creative strategies. And people have said they find role playing to be one of the most entertaining and valuable things that they learn at Rapid Cash, because you learn how to talk to people. You got to talk to them and you can't scare them. You've got to be able to put your ideas forward in a way people can understand, non-threatening, where they can see what we talk about all the time. And this is a tenet that rolls right through Rapid Cash. And that is that we always play for win-win. We always play for win-win. So if you're someone who likes to help, we are problem solvers. With our strategies, we are problem solvers, and we problem solve in a win-win way. And so I'm going to ask our guys, Wayne, you tell us, what does it mean when we say we play for win-win in this creative real estate sphere? What does that mean exactly?
Don't take advantage of people.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
I'd say probably, I mean, I like the money part. Don't get me wrong. I love the Rapid Cash in my pocket thing. That's fantastic. Trust me. But what I really like is that I'm able to make money. I'm able to create a business with creative, tools and strategies, and I'm able to help people at the same time. Right? I'm not trying to sell someone something. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like, hey, you need this thing, you don't have this thing, you're not cool, you should get this thing. No, I'm identifying a problem that someone has and providing a solution and making it win-win. I am getting paid and you are getting out of that problem. So I don't think there's any better business than a business where you can create a win-win and help someone.
Yeah, and I think the notion of win-win is, I think, some people find that odd. They think that in every situation, a business situation, there has to be a winner and a loser. And we don't believe in having winners and losers. We believe in win-win. Folks have problems. We have potential solutions. We like to put forward those solutions in a way that it will be a win for the person who has the problem. And I mean, to take that one step further, and I think you guys have probably done this, maybe Neill, you can give us an example of the situation where somebody contacts you through your marketing. They have what might be an ideal creative real estate situation where you could take your knowledge and apply. You look at it and you go, I know at least two ways that you could exit your problem and not do the deal with me, but it would be better for you. So
yeah, for sure. I mean,
tell us about that.
I went in a different direction when you were talking about this in terms of coming up with a scenario, something we dealt with. We had a lady who contacted us as a potential tenant buyer. So for rent to own program, she couldn't qualify today to be a homeowner, and she had $30,000, if not $35,000 from memory, as the expression goes, burning a hole in her pocket that she wanted to put down towards becoming a rent to own tenant. And we looked at her scenario, and unfortunately, she was on a disability pension. And so she would have never qualified to buy the house that she was looking at with us. She just, the ratios would not have worked out. And we told her that and turned her down, and she was mad that we wouldn't take her money. And we said to her, well, unfortunately, quite frankly, you may find that there is someone out there who will take your money, but literally that's all they're going to do, because if they can't create success, we look at every single person who comes in the door, and if we don't think we have a chance of creating success for them on a rent to own, we're going to pass, in spite of the fact that it would have been very easy to go, no problem, take our money, see you in a year, maybe even give you another year. Oh, you still haven't qualified. It just, what's the point, right? You can make money, like Wayne said. That house went to someone who probably didn't have, quite frankly, that kind of down payment, but they were able to create success. I mean, I listened to some of the guests who you have at these weekends, and they're in the hundreds, in terms of, say, fix and flips or rent to owns that they've done. But I think that the ones that we've done, we have created success for 30-some families, moving from being renters to homeowners. And that's a good feeling. That's truly win for them. And absolutely, did we make money in the process? Absolutely, we did. And we've said that to people lots when we're talking to sellers. We do need to make money. Most people recognize that they need to make that a business that they're dealing with needs to make money somewhere in the process. Yeah. Right. So.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time making sure people understand that it's okay to make money. I mean, that is why we're doing this. Mm-hmm. We're doing it to make money, but we want to do it in an ethical way that really helps the person across the table from us. And we don't take advantage of it. If we think it won't work for them, or if we can see another way for them to solve their problem that would be better than doing a deal with us, then we tell them that. And you know what? Nobody has ever come back to me and said, well, I should have taken advantage of that poor sucker because there's no other deals out. Nobody says that. They understand that there's a karmic aspect to win-win. And if you play for win-win all the time, I mean, I think the universe, this isn't a law. It's a karmic law. It's not, a written in at the land titles kind of law that if you treat people decently, it comes back to you for sure. So we're very big on that, folks. We're very big on win-win, and often we find out really what's going on at the negotiation stage, the fourth of the 7 steps. And so let's consider that you've done your negotiating and you've reached an arrangement. Everybody understand each other. The seller wants to do the deal. You want to do the deal. Well, then, of course, you have to actually paper the deal, because this is not all kumbaya. We like to have solid contracts that we can rely on. And so we teach you how to paper the deal. And in the doing of that, we give you examples of contracts, forms, templates, checklists, And we give all those to you in a 4-inch binder that's so big that
No, it's no longer. It's 3 manuals.
3 manuals, says
3
Donna.
separate manuals.
It's so big we can't put it in one binder. We have to do it in 3, says Donna. Now,
Every time the program gets run, Donna manages to outdo Donna, and it sounds like Donna has just outdone Donna again when it comes to the manuals. Wow.
she has. And so there are hard copy manuals, but we also give you digital copies of everything that's in the manual, because sometimes you need digital and sometimes you want your hard copy to refer to. And
it's like
yes, Don.
it's like the manual is a course of its own. Right?
Oh.
Right? The experience of the weekend is the one course, and then you get this like booster.
Yeah, you know, people take those manuals and go through them, and some of them have achieved success without listening to us for a whole weekend. Doing the whole weekend is way better, but the manuals are superb. And I am right now in the process of revising all of the documents, all of the legal documents.
Wait, what?
That are in there. Yes, Donna, sorry, I didn't tell you that, eh? When I do all these revisions, she has to take what she already has and just, put all the new stuff in. And so what I'm doing is taking what we've experienced over 3 years, the last 3 years, all the changes and issues and little wrinkles and crinkles that have come up. And so we're improving almost all of the documents that are in the manuals, because it's been 3 years of progress. So
can I add, and this is one of the most appealing things that, like, when I was first thinking about this, when I was first thinking about taking one of your courses, lots of real estate courses. I mean, there wasn't as many back then, but lots of real estate courses to choose from. The fact this is all very scary to me, but the fact that it was run by, you're not going to say this, so I'm going to say it. The fact that it was run by you, an experienced real estate lawyer, gave me a lot more confidence. And that's one of the coolest things about this, because it's not just one course that you guys made 15 years ago and it hasn't changed. Like, every single time it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And as you, a real estate lawyer, continue to do more deals like this with your students and through other investors, you start to notice things and you revise it over time, right? So it just keeps getting better and better and better and better, continuously improving, small little improvements, continuously. Kaizen,
good for you.
I love it. I love it. I love that it's not just the same old thing. And that's why people continuously come back to your courses, because the conversations change every single time we go. The content changes every single time we go. So I'm grateful.
That's kind of interesting so it was meaningful for you, Wayne, that it's taught by me, who's a full-time real estate lawyer, really specializing in creative real estate. Mm-hmm. So people often say to me, well, Barry, Donna, I mean, people can take your course, they can buy the manual, they can get all the digital stuff, and then they're just going to go and teach it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I mean, make a few modifications and change it. And what about that? And I go, sorry, they can go and get the paper, but they can't produce the course. They can't have the kind of room that we've got. They can't understand the philosophy and how we look at it as a very successful group of people who have taken Rapid Cash. Mm-hmm. They can't repeat that stuff. So I'm not worried one little bit about anybody trying to. Here's your word for the day, Wayne. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Purloin.
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 Love it.
Purloin, is that a unit of measurement?
No.
Use it in context.
Purloin.
Correct. So I'm not worried about that somebody's going to purloin all of our teachings, because they can't repeat it. It's been like 15 years. They're almost 15 years almost, and nobody is doing what we're doing, and it's because we have a unique group with a unique philosophy. It's not just the paper; it's all those other things. The paper is very important, but it's not just that. So that was negotiation number 5 in the 7 steps that we do for every one of the strategies. The 6th step is, once you've papered a deal and closed it, now what? Oh my God. Now I've got a property that I acquired through agreements for sale or rent to own or assignment or wholesaling.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is managing the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now you own it. You have to manage it to achieve the end that you plan. So your analysis told you that you were buying this agreement for sale property or rent to own property, and the end result is supposed to be fill in the blank. Then you have to understand how to run that deal for the length of time that you wrote it for. So if it's a 2-month wholesaling thing, you got to know how to put those pieces together to get your nice assignment fee at the end of it. If it's an RTO, rent to own, that ends in 3 years, you got to know how to run it so that at the end, your rent to own tenant buyer can successfully pay you out. So they can successfully get a mortgage. And there's lots to know about that. So managing the deal is step number 6. And you know what? We have a room full of people who have done these deals, who have lots and lots and lots to contribute on the fine points of management where they've had some difficulty, how they overcame that difficulty, what they've learned, what they're doing now, what they might do in the future. So there's tons of things to be learned on managing your deal through to a successful conclusion.
And Barry, that's where like 90% of my questions come from. You guys always joke that I pull the piece of paper out of my jacket pocket and I've got a list of questions. Because I'm dealing with stuff. Neill, on a regular basis, you're dealing with stuff. And we've never seen this happen before. And we're like, guys, have you ever dealt with this?
Yeah.
And I like to save it to the end rather than pulling Neill aside, over beers afterwards in the bar. I'd rather share it with everybody. I'm like, this is something valuable. Probably you're never going to run into it, but it's kind of like a tales from the trench kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'd rather share and get an answer from everybody.
Yeah. There's managing is hands-on in the trenches learning that we all do on all of our deals. And I'll tell you, if you want to find the different ways that people handle problems, just listen to the management section. And, none of us can think of all the different ways to solve problems. It's so powerful. As Neill said, the hive mind will teach the rest of the hive how to do stuff. And it's, I don't know, it can't be beat. It really just can't on the managing side of things.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we talk about in the 7 steps is the exit, because you have to, rapid cash is rapid cash. This isn't going on for 25 years. This is going on for 2 months or 6 months or maybe 3 years, maybe a little longer in certain cases, but you have to know how to exit the deal and what the best kind of exit is. What if something's preventing you from exiting? And that happens. I mean, in a rent-own situation, maybe your tenant buyer can't qualify at the end of 3 years like the plan was. Mm-hmm. And so now what? Now what are we going to do? How are we going to exit that deal if we can't leave under the first exit? So you learn about the primary exits that you can do. And then you learn about how to solve exit problems as well. And those kinds of things can come up. Yeah. You learn about the number of exits that you can do. So for example, if you're doing a fix and flip, for instance, you find a nice undervalued property, one of those properties where they've had 12 cats and you can barely breathe as you go into the house for the cat urine. And Wayne, what do creative investors say after visiting that kind of house? What do they say? Smells like
money.
Smells like money.
Yep.
Smells like money. So we find that house. We're pretty sure that we've got it way undervalued. We've got a pretty good idea of a budget number that we can use to fix it, renovate it, make it look nice, to add value to it. But Wayne, let's talk about the number of, we're talking exits here. Mm-hmm. So in a fix and flip situation, yes, you can buy it, fix it, and flip it, which is selling. Yeah. Yeah. What else can you do?
You can buy it, fix it, refinance it, and keep it. Add it to your portfolio, right, which is commonly known as the BRRRR.
The BRRRR.
Yeah.
Brr.
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 Everybody wants to do the burr. Everybody wants to do the burr because it's great. I mean, you
Sounds
can.
like a dance.
Okay, keep going.
All right. Sorry.
Let them finish. Let them finish.
You don't want them to finish all of them.
Yeah, the
Monday,
bird.
7th and 8th live, folks. Barry will do the burr dance.
No.
Not the bird, Donna.
Oh.
Bird.
Oh, the bird.
So what else?
There was
Any
a great
other
question that
things?
just got posted in the comments from Valerie? If we have questions,
Well,
about real life situations.
I can add one more. There was a question there. I can add one more. Obviously, you can do a fix and flip with a joint venture partner. You can bring in. Maybe you don't have all the money. Maybe you've got some of the money.
Yeah.
But you don't have all the money to do the renovation. Some of these renovations can be pretty expensive. I mean, if you're doing big fancy renos like Neill here, I mean, you're adding additions and all that other stuff and fanciness.
You can. You fix and flip and do a rent to own.
Yes,
you could exit with a rent to own.
Absolutely.
So
love those creative combinations. Love them.
Creative combinations. Yeah. So you buy a property by way of agreement for sale. You can exit with a rent to own. You can buy a property by way of agreement for sale. You need a bunch of money, so you joint venture with somebody to buy it.
I have an idea.
What, Donna?
Sorry.
What?
If people do want to register, if they register within the next 24 hours, we'll give them creative combinations for free.
Oh.
Wanna?
Okay. Well, that's good. So we have a product called Creative Combinations, which talks about all of the ways you put these creative strategies together. Donna says that if anybody who registers in the next 24 hours will get creative combinations free, and probably you'd send it to them right away, wouldn't you?
No.
Or take to them at the meeting?
We'll work on that.
Donna will work on the details. Details.
Let's not give it to them too early. Then they start doing deals before they get the education.
Do you have a question?
All right.
Yes.
So let's look at the question. If we have questions about real life situations we're experiencing after the course, what's the best way to get those questions answered? Through the Facebook page. Absolutely. I mean, when people post questions or issues on the student Facebook page, not this public Facebook page, the private Facebook page, you get answers like right away, and you get 2 or 3 answers. So that's the best place to do it. But
I also read that question as if we have questions about real life situations that we're experiencing as in now, but after the course still aren't answered, bring those questions to the course, folks, because we typically can find the time to go through them, as a group, and you'll get some real live discussions. And the Facebook page is a great place for it as well, but to have that live discussion then and there can be pretty neat. Again, I think, Barry, you tell the story when you're introducing Andrea, how at the very first course she ever took, which was back in the Ron LeGrand days, she did a deal the day of the course, during the course.
Yeah.
Because of it, right?
Yeah, the light bulb went on for a situation that she'd seen that she didn't understand the strategy, so she didn't recognize that as an opportunity. She all of a sudden heard about it, understood the strategy, and was outside the room doing the deal, and actually did that deal. That was pretty exciting for Andrea, for sure. All right, so those are the 7 steps: education, lead generation and marketing, deal analysis, negotiation, papering the deal, managing the deal, and exiting the deal. And we go through all those for all of the 6 strategies as we roll our way through the Rapid Cash program. Best, most memorable creative deal. That is a question I'm gathering. Is that right, Donna? You want me to ask the lads?
Yeah.
Donna says I should ask you, what is your best, most memorable creative deal as we roll our way through to finishing this presentation? Who's got
first? I have to think.
I'll go through our last one that we did. Barry, I don't know if it's our best one, but it is memorable because we were looking at selling a buy and hold house of ours. The market was just starting to come to life around a year ago, post-COVID, and that little bit of rush, which now is a crazy rush. That's a whole other story. And so we were looking at comps, and one of the comps showed up, and it's like why is that so under market value? And our realtor, who knows what we do, says, oh, don't worry about that. That's a foreclosure. And I can't leave well enough alone. So I went and pulled the title, found the name of the owner, got in touch with them, and just really sent a one-line message that says, have you found a solution yet? And the answer came back as no. And we pulled that house out of, I think we even did it on one of the sessions on a Monday. We talked about it. We pulled that house out of foreclosure on the day that the bank's lawyer was going to court to get the forced sale awarded, because the house was listed. They were presenting the offers to the court to accept them. They knew the offer was going to get accepted. And we got a 4 or 5 day extension for us to get all the numbers. And the owner was able to redeem the mortgage and bring it current. And then we took it over on agreement for sale. And here's, again, you talk about win-win. At the time, a very good friend of mine had a friend who had great credit, but due to an unfortunate circumstance, could not get approved with CMHC financing, 5% down. So he had to have 20% down, didn't have the money. So we knew this house needed some sweat equity done to it, or work done to it. We turned that house over to them on a rent to own. They did all the repairs to it. We're just in the process this month now, finally, of they're going to go and refinance it. And of course, with the way that the market has gone way up, they'll easily be able to refinance that at 80% loan to value and have their rent to own option credits cover that off. So it was one of those ones that it started at one thing, it moved to another. We solved an owner's problems. We solved a friend's problems. Their homeowners, they're super happy. They would have not gotten into this market for a very, very long time, given that that house has probably gone up 15, if not 20%, since they struck the price for them. We honored the price because we do that. And if that one isn't our most successful, it's certainly one of our most memorable ones, and happens to be the most recent one as well. So there was a couple of win-wins created there. We saved the first guy's credit. He doesn't have foreclosure on his bureau. So,
you know, Neil, you and I talked about that particular one. And what I really remember out of this is, folks, when Neil and I were talking about just how foreclosures work and what kind of timing you get and how all that part of it fit together, it was obvious to me that as Neil was going into this deal, it didn't look like there was much of a chance of success. It didn't look like there was very much money to be made. It looked like there was a whole bunch of effort to be put in without really anything going on. But I think Neil liked the homeowner, and their circumstances were such that they hadn't brought all this misery on themselves. Life had just done it to them. And because we like to be problem solvers and play for win-win, Neil put way more effort into this than any sane businessman would put in, and got a really, really, really good result. And that's a classic tale for how we like to do things and why we do things the way we do. It's not just all about money for me. So I thought I'd just say that, Neil. You didn't say that, but I remember that distinctly from our discussions.
Yeah, thank you, Barry. Yeah, was it our fattest deal ever? No, it would be a great deal for anyone as a student to do, quite frankly, because the first deal that you do, right, go back to the one damn deal that you talk about, is the primary motive on that a big fat paycheck? Maybe. But quite frankly, folks, the primary motivation on that should be to get the deal done, because once you have a deal under your belt, the next, what do they say? The hardest deal to do is your first one. One damn deal. Once you get the first one done, the second one becomes a little more easy. You start to see the patterns. To establish those patterns. We're fortunate that we were far enough down the road that, we didn't lose money on that deal for sure. And we made some, but it certainly was not a fat deal.
No. And you knew that going in. So, I mean, it wasn't one that failed. It was, you knew it and you helped anyway. So Wayne, what about you?
You know what? I love the creative combinations. I love the super creative ones where I have a problem and I can put a bunch of things together and put all the pieces. But to be honest, my favorites are the ones that are the simplest. The ones where I've got a good deal under contract and maybe timing isn't working out, or I know someone else who's looking for something very similar, and I can just flip it real quick. Just make a quick $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Just being able to make that fast cash. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. I got time for those complicated deals anymore and the stress levels and stuff. To be honest, I love the quick assignments. We're flipping a lot now too, and getting into that. It comes with a lot of stress. I like the fast cash, the rapid cash, personally. Just
and why not? I mean, we do. Anybody who's listening, we don't intentionally make these complicated for ourselves. Everybody, we don't do that. We would love to have nice, simple, straightforward, understandable deals where it's win-win for everybody and carry on. And that's what Wayne's talking about. Those are the simple deals are great deals to do, and you do one and you move on to the next. So it's a category of deal that you like, I would say.
Yeah. I'm not even a wholesaler. Like I don't identify as a wholesaler either. I just, sometimes you got a good deal and other people in your network, and especially after these events, you get to know so many people. Like you make so many great connections over the weekend, and you just build this amazing network, and you know what everybody is looking for. Like I know what Neil's looking for, and there's Dean and Shelly, in Calgary, and I know the people in Edmonton as well. And just when I have something lined up, sometimes it's like, oh, you know what, that would work really well, and that'd be significantly easier for me, and it'll help them. So to be able to just do that and not have to think too much about it, make some quick cash, I love it.
Knowing that they're passing on to people who understand these strategies.
Donna says, and knowing that you're passing on a deal that maybe isn't working so well for you to someone else who it would work for, that does understand the strategy and who plays by the same rules. So
absolutely.
So I've got one that I'm going to be teaching this go round. It's different for me as a lawyer, but I've got an agreement for sale that we're going to use as an example, where the money that the seller was carrying got broken up into 5 different categories. 5 different categories of money. So often with an agreement for sale, there's an amount equal to the seller's underlying mortgage, and it's just that plus some cash. There was a mortgage, there was a second mortgage, and there were 3 other components to it, which I will be talking about. It's the most complicated one I've ever written up, and everybody's happy as a clam with it. It's going great. Yeah. So folks, that I think is what I wanted to talk about. The Rapid Cash program, why we love it, why it's good for you, and why you should register and join us on May 7th and 8th in Calgary. Yes, Donna.
Do these guys have any final comments?
Oh, I should ask them. Do you guys have any final comments?
Okay, I'll go. Folks, if you're on the fence about May 7th and May 8th, well, the weather might be nice. There might be this, there's a UFC fight. I don't know if there's a UFC fight, but there's something on that weekend. This course, if you're on the fence, come, because if you're looking for something that can be life-changing, the potential is there. And as Barry says, not only is the potential there, the ability to say, here are some real-world examples of people who have achieved success through this course, and it has made a difference. It's unbelievable. That investment of your time, that's the way to look at it. You're going to invest some time and a very small amount of money. You do one damn deal, more than paid for it. You do a bunch of deals, my goodness. What change? What's possible in your world for coming to Calgary on March 7th and 8th? May 7th and 8th, sorry.
Thanks, Neil. Wayne?
I don't endorse many programs. I don't. I'm very public about it. It's like, I don't endorse many programs, and you guys are one of the few. I got it
right there.
Literally, I said this a million times. If you haven't heard me say it, like literally catapulted our business. Literally, I was stuck. I had no solutions. And as soon as I figured it out, like everything just kind of opened up. The storm kind of cleared. So, I mean, if it worked for me, it worked for Neil, it worked for everybody else. It'll definitely work for you too. And if it doesn't, then call me and I'll make sure it works for you, because it's you. It's not the program, that's for sure. The program is amazing. The workshop's amazing.
That's true, folks. There's all the help you need. It's not just Facebook group. I wanted to just say one more thing. Donna is a great resource. She watches and directs things on Facebook. And if I need to get involved, I'm always happy to be involved and make a phone call or do an email or two and help you figure stuff out. So, wow, it sounds like it's a great course. I'm thinking, wow, that does sound really good. Of course it is. Well, you guys, thanks for showing up and helping Donna and I tell everybody what's going on May 7th and 8th in Calgary. Anybody else who's listening, Donna's popped out the Creative Combinations offer. I am so looking forward to it. I'm so sad and don't want to do Zoom things anymore. I want to get in a room with interested people and spend 2 wonderful days learning about creative real estate and networking and having a beer afterwards, and then coming back and doing it again the next day. And then it's just great. I'm lost for words at this point. So I guess that's the place where we'll sign off. Thanks again, you guys, for showing up. And we'll see you all in Calgary, May 7th and 8th.